Habits are not small things. They quietly shape who we are and how we live. In fact, research shows that nearly 70% of our waking behavior is habitual. That means most of what we do every day happens automatically, without conscious effort. From brushing our teeth to checking our phones, habits run in the background of our lives. This is why changing habits can feel so difficult, and why mastering them can be so powerful. When you understand how habits work in the brain, you stop blaming yourself and start working with your nervous system instead of against it. You've probably heard the idea that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Others say 18 days, 30 days, or even 60 days. But science tells us something very different. A major study published in 2010 found that habit formation can take anywhere from 18 days to over 250 days for different people, even for the same habit. This means there is no universal timeline. Habit formation depends more on the individual than the habit itself. So if you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're weak. It simply means your brain learns differently, and that's completely normal. Habits are built through a process called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change through repetition. The key memory system involved here is procedural memory. Unlike episodic memory, which remembers events, procedural memory stores sequences. Think of it like a recipe or a routine. When a habit becomes automatic, you no longer think about why you're doing it, you just know how. This is why habits feel effortless once they're formed. The brain isn't making decisions anymore, it's simply running a learned program. Understanding this shift is crucial for building habits that last. One of the biggest obstacles to forming new habits is limbic friction, emotional resistance to starting. A simple but powerful way to reduce this is procedural visualization. This doesn't require meditation or closing your eyes. All you need to do is mentally walk through the exact steps of the habit, from beginning to end. For example, imagine where you'll be, what you'll do first, and how the habit will unfold. Research shows that even doing this once can significantly increase the likelihood of following through. The brain becomes familiar with the process before the body even starts. One of the most powerful tools for habit formation is something called task bracketing. This involves neural circuits in the basal ganglia that mark the beginning and end of a behavior. These circuits don't execute the habit itself, they frame it. Task bracketing tells the brain this behavior starts now and ends here. When these circuits are strong, habits become reliable, even on bad days. You don't need motivation. The brain already knows what comes next. Task bracketing is the reason some habits feel automatic and others feel negotiable. Think about brushing your teeth. You do it even when you're tired, stressed, or distracted. That's because the habit has become non-negotiable in your brain. Task bracketing creates a neural fingerprint that makes certain behaviors feel essential. Once a habit reaches this stage, it no longer depends on mood or willpower. The brain expects it to happen. This is the goal of habit formation, not perfection, but reliability. When a habit is deeply embedded, skipping it feels stranger than doing it. That's when behavior truly becomes automatic. To build a new habit, don't focus only on the action itself. Focus on the moments just before and just after the habit. Anticipate how it will feel to start, including the difficulty. Then think about how it will feel to finish. By positively engaging with both the beginning and the end, you teach your brain to associate dopamine with the entire process, not just the result. This makes habits easier to repeat. Over time, the brain learns that showing up is rewarding even when the habit itself feels challenging. Breaking a bad habit isn't just about stopping. In fact, stopping alone rarely works. The most powerful moment for change is immediately after the bad habit occurs. At that point, the neural circuits responsible for the behavior are still active. This creates a unique opportunity. Instead of doing nothing, immediately engage in a different positive habit. This disrupts the old neural pattern and begins forming a new one. You're not fighting the brain, you're redirecting it. Over time, this approach weakens the old habit and strengthens a better alternative. Imagine you're trying to focus, but you reflexively pick up your phone. Instead of feeling frustrated, put the phone down and immediately do a positive habit. Drink a glass of water, take 5 deep breaths, practice a skill for 5 minutes. This creates a link in time between the bad habit and a good one. The brain starts recognizing the sequence and becomes more aware before the distraction even happens. Over time, this double habit creates enough disruption that the old behavior loses its grip, making better choices easier and more automatic. Habits are not permanent traits. They are learned behaviors, and anything learned can be reshaped. Your brain is constantly adapting, responding to repetition and patterns. When you understand how habits work, change becomes practical instead of emotional. You stop relying on motivation and start using structure. Small actions repeated consistently create powerful transformations over time. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to work with your nervous system. When you do, habits stop controlling you, and you begin designing your life with intention.